Today on the Broadway Shuffle, we discuss Texas Tech's huge week in Utah, look ahead to the home matchup against Iowa State, and give our college football playoff predictions. That and much more next on the Broadway Shuffle. Welcome to episode 42 of the Broadway Shuffle with Clayton, Conrad, and Zyler. I'm Brennan, and you should know us by now if you've been listening for some time, but if it's your first time, welcome to the show. Feel free to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then you can follow all of our social medias. All of our social medias. Talking a little fast here. I'm excited after the huge week in Utah. Follow all of our social medias in the link tree in the description below. Gentlemen, coming off a much needed 2-0 road trip, we discussed the BYU game, we discussed the Utah game. We are getting into the BYU game today, and then we'll also look ahead to a top 5 team coming into the USA on Saturday with a massive opportunity to really up your resume and start talking about some serious noise in the Big 12. So, Clayton, I want to go to you first, brother. You have been high on this team. I was getting a little nervous, but the BYU game, man, how you controlled that second half. Get into your thoughts on what Texas Tech was able to do to come out with a win.
Yeah, I was getting a little nervous too, man. But yeah, you've looked really good the last 2 games. Like we talked about last episode, like the offense is so good. One of the best, probably the best offense I've seen at a Tech school or a Tech team. Chance has been so good for you. Hawkins is starting to play really well. Like you mentioned, like the guard play is going to take us where we want to go. So like if Hawkins keeps playing like this, I really like our chances throughout the rest of the Big 12 play. And you won in one of the toughest environments in the Big 12 without your best player really doing much at all. So I really like how the team's playing. Obviously, we'll get a better test Saturday against Iowa State. I'm a little concerned about kind of like what Zyler mentioned in the last episode, but their physicality, because that's not a strength of BYU or Utah's. So we'll see if we can continue the way we're playing right now. But I like where we're at right now.
Yeah, much needed 2-0 week, especially off the disappointing loss to UCF. Conrad, when you're looking at this team, you return D5, you return Chance, you bring in Toppin and Elijah and some of these guys. And it seemed to me like the experience and the leadership of this team really showed up in the second half against BYU. How exciting was it to see D5 kind of come out of his, I won't call it a big slump, but a mini slump, not what we really were used to seeing from it. And also see Elijah Hawkins come off some screens, man, and just look like Steph Curry there for pretty much a whole game.
I mean, you're not wrong, Elijah.
High praise.
This is this has to be his best 2 games of the season for you so far, and he's playing really well. I think this team, looking at the Utah trip, the mountain trip as we like to call it, did a lot of really good things. I think after losing to UCF, you needed to do exactly what you did, and winning both these games, I think that speaks to not only your coaching staff but the leadership you have on this team. Obviously, D5 and Chance and some of the guys who've been here for a while makes you feel really good about where this team can go. And even looking at JT, I don't think he would probably not tell you that he played his best basketball on this trip. I don't think he did it all, and I think he can play better going forward. And so you combine all these things: D5 playing well, Elijah looking like Steph Curry. I mean, you combine all those things, and you get JT more involved, and he doesn't get in foul trouble like he has. You may have something special here.
Yeah, Z, it seems like Texas Tech now, we've bought some real estate in Utah. We now own the state of Utah, and this is going to be a great thing for our program. But looking ahead to what this might mean, you can get into the win specifically, but what this might mean in terms of your tournament projection. I know you're going to be here every week to kind of walk through a little bit more about like what each game does for your chances and your seeding in March. What did this win do? And then give your overall thoughts on what you liked most about this outcome.
Yeah, great stuff. And if you're interested more in the bracketology side, on our Twitter, I post a daily update from bracketologist.com where I'll track, what our wins above the bubble, our strength of record, what that movement looks like on a day-to-day basis. And, the one that I put out today, you on your resume metrics, because that's what's really been lacking. Your strength of record has jumped about 30 spots since the UCF game. Your KPI has jumped another probably 20 spots, which you think, oh wow, now you're firmly in the bubble now, or firmly in the tournament. No, you're really kind of just on the bubble now. I would say if the tournament started today, you would be one of the last teams in. You'd be maybe an 11 seed, or you'd be one of the first teams out. So you're now in the picture, though. You were firmly out of the picture after that UCF loss. So you did a lot of good work. You needed this. You picked up a quad one win, which is a win on the road against a top 75 team. Those are the best ones to get because they're really hard to fall out of quad or Q1. And then you picked up a Q2 win with a chance to turn to Q1 win if Utah kind of goes on a little run. They're just outside of Q1 territory. So great win for you. I was impressed. You found a way to win a game on the road where you didn't exactly shoot that well from the 3-point line. BYU didn't shoot well either. I don't want to, say that, you caught some fortune there. They shot 21%, but you only shot 35%. I know that's still pretty good, but that's below what you usually shoot. You had Christian Anderson, who's been pretty lights out for you, go 0 for 5. Darion wasn't really that good from outside the arc. And fortunately, you have Elijah Hawkins shooting 66% from the 3 over his last 2 games. So I don't expect those percentages to hold, but he's been excellent for you, and he's really stepped up. And he's not turning the ball over. He's been exactly what you were hoping for when you signed him. In fact, he's better than what I was hoping for when you signed him. I don't expect this pace of play to continue over the course of Big 12 play, but it's been an excellent stretch for him, and he really willed you to a win last night. He put you in position to win, and then D5 kind of took it home. So I enjoyed the heck out of the game. It was so fun to watch. Grant is making adjustments every other possession. You can just see that we're constantly tweaking and adjusting and doing different things. I thought Kevin Young had some interesting curveballs that he threw our offense that took us a little bit to kind of figure out. But eventually, our offense kind of finds a way. You exploded in the second half. And yeah, fun game. Always more fun when you win. But great for the guys, and glad that they'll be able to get home and get rested for a big matchup for you Saturday.
Yeah, 56 points combined between the 3 with D5, Elijah, and Chance. And then you're looking at Toppin, and, interesting. He had the injuries kind of coming back, but 5 points and 0 rebounds for JT Toppin. So he didn't have his best game against Utah. He didn't have his best game, obviously, against BYU. But yeah, you come out 2-0. What does that mean, Clay, for your team? The fact that you can rely on some of these guards. Now, like Z said, you really can't expect Elijah to shoot 66% from 3 throughout the course of Big 12 play. That's going to fall. You will need Toppin, but it does show that this team can at least spread the love and is not solely reliant on Toppin, which is kind of how it looked a little bit in the non-conference.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good sign that you can, get these 2 tough wins without him doing much. Federico has been great. I feel like that's the reason that you've been able to get these wins without him.
Mm-hmm.
You need some kind of production in the front court. But yeah, Darion can be a go-to scorer. Chance is obviously having an incredible season. If Hawkins plays like this, against the middle of the pack teams, you shouldn't need a great game from Toppin to beat those. Obviously, whenever you play the Iowa States, Kansases, I don't think we can get away with Toppin scoring 5 points and 0 rebounds, but it's a good sign that we can beat, a quality team like BYU without him having his best game.
Yeah. And one thing that I had talked about after BYU, or excuse me, dude, I'm getting all these Utah schools. It's just like BYU, Utah, BYU. They're the same.
We beat both of them.
We beat both of them. All that matters is that we beat both of them. After Utah, I was like, your guard play is going to carry you through March. Like every time I've watched a tournament and we've watched March Madness, like who is typically dominating the storylines? It's usually some sort of guard or point forward or someone that can create shots. It's rarely a JT Toppin top guy. Like that just gets you to the Final Four. You need good guards. And so to see Hawkins and Chance, I'm not saying they're 2 of the best guards in the country, though you can make an argument that Chance McMillan is one of the most efficient guards, if not, I think statistically still one of the most efficient guards in the country. You need those guys, though, to not shoot 66%, but to play well. And if you can get that type of production out of them on a night in and night out basis, you're going to be very hard to beat because you're not going to stop Toppin. He's not going to have 5 points and 0 rebounds every game and get into foul trouble as early as
for
he
sure,
had to, which is a little concerning. I would say seeing the foul trouble is a little concerning. Z.
Yeah, this back-to-back games where either Darion or Toppin has gotten into trouble early, like first 3 minutes of the game. You don't want that. I feel a little bit for Toppin. I feel like he's much better suited to be playing as like a true 4, not necessarily a 5. And he's got another tough matchup, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But Iowa State has some huge centers that are, he's going to struggle a bit defensively, and it's not really his fault. But BYU's Tonka Truck, Fuseni, Traore, I mean, all of our guys were having a hard time with him. And I didn't understand why BYU kind of went away from him. I mean, he only played 23 minutes, and I felt like he was their most reliable offensive weapon when those outside shots weren't falling. I wasn't entirely sure why we didn't see more of him last night, because I didn't think we had a great defensive answer for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's look ahead. Let's go. Sorry, Conrad, go ahead.
Last thing that I think may go under the radar sometimes with this team, at least over the past couple of games in Utah, you had single-digit turnovers in both the games. And Hawkins, for as good as he played on the offensive side of the ball, he had 0 turnovers on Tuesday night, which is fantastic. And so even if the three-point shooting drops, which it will, he's not going to shoot 66% like we've mentioned, having 0 turnovers and playing together to where you don't have those silly plays that cost you possessions, that's going to be a big factor if you can keep that going into Big 12 play. Dude,
and there was one possession, I think it was when we were up 61-58, and Chance comes off a down screen on the baseline, from the baseline, catches the pass, kind of curls off it, gets into the lane, bounce passes it. I believe it was either to Toppin or Federico or D5 or someone. We go up 63-58, and I'm watching this motion, and it looks like the team is starting to kind of understand each other more, which is what you want in basketball. It takes a while, especially in this transfer portal era, to just click right away. And you can see Grant's like shaking his head, like, yeah, like that's what I want, And it's like, man, this team, if the offense is being that efficient, they're hard to stop. If you can get D5 in the post, but also on a pick and pop, and you can get Elijah coming off a big Federico screen and have Toppin, and then have Chance coming off screens and pin downs, it's exciting to watch. This has to be your best offense you've had in years. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but I mean, man, when they're clicking, it is fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from the KenPom area, post 2000, this is the best offense you've had by probably 20 to 25 spots. You're 7th in the country right now, and it's so. It's awesome. It's funny as a Tech fan. It's like we have this insane offense. We're like, God, dude, like, why can't we just have a great defense? And it's like we had a great defense. We're like, dude, it would be so fun to just have a great offense.
Yeah, like Beard's offense was like sometimes just horrible to watch. You're like,
it was awful.
It was like, oh my gosh.
His whole offense was like, have one player save you at the end of the shot clock. Either Jared Culver or Mac McClung.
Yeah, I was watching the Ole Miss game, and the Ole Miss was playing Arkansas, and the announcer said their shot chart looks like a 1989 basketball game. Like they're still doing it. Like it is just like a deathly, like just boring offense. So this is way more exciting, but we're not as locked down, like holding Michigan to 12 points in the Sweet 16 type game. Yeah. But it's fun to watch, and hopefully it continues when you shoot that well. And we'll need it against Iowa State. Z, what specifically about Iowa State? I mean, obviously this is one of the best teams in the country, ranked 3rd right now going into this matchup. I mean, what is your expectation, and how should we as fans realistically expect? I don't know. Can we expect to beat them?
Yeah, I mean, I won't be shocked if you beat Iowa State. I mean, this is a really good team. They're 4th in KenPom. They're 3rd in the AP poll. This is a team that can absolutely win a national title. They're 6th in offensive efficiency, so better than your offense, and they're 8th in defensive efficiency, which is clearly better than your defense. So this is a really, really, really good team. They don't turn the ball over. They hit shots. They rebound well. They really don't do anything poorly. If I had to pick on one particular thing that maybe they don't do, exceptionally well, it's going to be they allow some points from the 3-point line. NCAA average is about 31.4% of your points come to the 3-point line. Iowa State will allow about 33.8, and that's 92nd in the country. But that's not a huge glaring deficiency. They're big. They have good guards. They've got good wings. They can shoot. I mean, it's a really good team. You're going to have to play really, really well. I think you're going to have to shoot really, really well too to beat this team. They cause a lot of havoc. If you can prevent yourself from forcing a bunch of turnovers, that's what they really, really get after. They're 17th in the country in turnover percentage at about 22.4%. turnover rate. If you can hold on to the ball, even at like a 10% rate, and at least get shots up on 90% of your possessions, you're going to be sitting. I think you'll have a shot. If you're turning it over and kind of playing recklessly like they do, yeah, it could be a long night. They're physical. It's going to be a big challenge for you. Going to have to play extremely well.
Clay, sounds like we have to play pretty much perfect to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have to play perfect, but I will say that like if it's a close game, I will feel pretty good about our team even if we lose. Iowa State's really good. Like they were really good last year, and they basically brought back their entire team, and it's crazy that they're top 10 in offensive efficiency, because that was like their downfall last year was they were so good on defense, but they couldn't really score on you. So I do think that, if we can limit turnovers, I think that's part of the reason their offense is so good, is because they create so many live ball turnovers and they score on them in the transition. But yeah, you're going to have to play well. I hope that we have a good environment, and, if you get good games from like top end Darion Chance, you definitely have a shot to win the game, but that's asking a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see kind of what we throw out schematically, because they have the wings. Like, there's a good chance Josh Jefferson gets the Darion Williams assignment, and he is a big fella, 6'9", 240. I don't know that Darion's going to be able to back him down like he did Maywat Mag last night. And then they've got, the other gentleman that we got to worry about is a guy named Deshaun Jackson. Just defensively, he's 6'11", 280. So huge force inside. And so top end is going to have a hard time moving that guy around. So you're going to have to rebound well too. It's going to be a tough game.
I thought Deshaun Jackson was on the Eagles.
No, this is
Deshaun Jackson was retired.
Oh.
Didn't we recruit him?
Yeah, we like Deshaun. It's with an I. It's like Dishon. Maybe we should call him Dishon.
Dishon. Dishon. I like that better.
Dish Soap Jackson.
Jackson.
Dishon Jackson.
I like it. All right, Conrad, the Kool-Aid man. You had the Cyclone Cola in the football. We found a way to get a win. Is the Cyclone Cola, is that coming out part 2? Are we drinking that heading into the weekend?
It's possible. I mean, we got them at our place, right? I think, looking at this game, just with how the odds seemingly are stacked against you, it wouldn't surprise me if you lost. But again, like what Clayton said, if you lose close, that's got to make you feel good, even if you lose, because this is our 4th Big 12 game. We've got a long way to go. And if you can hang close with Iowa State, even be it at home, that's great. If you win this game, though, I think that says a lot about your team. Again, too, there's still a long way to go, but I think the Cyclone Cola can come in clutch for you. But the thing we need for this game is to have a chance and to win the game is an insane home court environment. You need the USA to be absolutely rocking. I'm not sure how many students will be back. I hope students are back, given that you're hosting the top 3, the 3rd ranked team in the country in your place. I think that'll be really big for you. It's nothing we're not used to here, because we seemingly do it all the time, but having them at our place would be a really big deal. So I think you can win the game. Maybe if I had to pick us to win, it'd be a 1, 2, 3 point game. You're not winning by a lot if you do scrape out a win.
I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it's impossible. They're probably going to be favored by like 1 to 2 points. Like, that's the KenPom projection right now is 1. So, I mean, you've got a 40+% chance, if not higher. Yeah. We'll see what the actual Vegas line comes out. So, Vegas respects you a lot. You're a top 16 team country in the predictive metrics. So don't be shocked if you win. But this is a really good team coming into town. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys set that up perfectly well. What is your prediction time? Conrad, I'll go to you first. You look like you had something to say, so I'll let you finish that thought and then give us the score.
I'm not trying to act like you should expect to lose, but it's not something that you should necessarily you shouldn't. It really is a toss-up, right? I mean, like so many of these games are. I don't think you should expect to maybe get it out as far as you did, obviously, against Utah, or do what you did against BYU towards the end. But I'll go maybe an 86-83 win for the Red Raiders on Saturday. So we'll dish out the Cyclone Cola here on the Broadway Shuffle.
Oh, that'll be more than
if we score 86 against Iowa State, we're going to be like a top 2 offense. I would love that.
I mean, it's possible, right? It's possible.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
We got the dudes to do it.
Yep.
Clayton?
Yeah, I would not be shocked if he won the game, but I cannot pick it. I'm a little concerned about Hawkins versus Lipsy. Lipsy is just so good, especially defensively. So I'll go Iowa State. I'll say like Iowa State 76-71.
Yeah, I'll probably take Iowa State to pull away late. If you get the USA rocking, though, don't be surprised to see. I mean, Iowa State's had problems playing in Lubbock. You remember that team that came in when we were, winless in conference play, and we had that like 20-point come. Like they've had issues playing here before, so don't be shocked to see us come out with a win. I worry about the physicality. I have yet to see us beat a super physical team. I'll take Iowa State in a low score. I'll take like 68-65.
So close games all the way around. It'd only be fair for me to pick and have this go 2v2. Have at least not leave Conrad hanging alone. So I'm going to go 65-58 Red Raiders. And I know that sounds so low scoring, but it's an afternoon game, maybe sluggish. It's cold. And I think Iowa State maybe comes in. And I think for Texas Tech specifically, you lose to UCF. And I think if you had beaten UCF and you're 3-0, I could expect Texas Tech to kind of not be as amped for this. But I think Grant's going to say, like, you don't want to lose home court advantage. And this is one of the best places to play in the country when it's rocking. And having the embarrassment of losing to UCF and then seeing how badly they lost at home to Kansas and saying, like, you could not take care of business, you go play your heart out. And I think we have enough talent to where these dudes, motivated with a big crowd, will feed off of that, get enough stops, and then hit some timely shots. And I see us winning by 7. I just have a hard time thinking you're going to start 0-2 at home in Big 12 play. Just, maybe it's not what it was back in our prime time, but I just don't see that happening. And I think a win here would be huge. I think the guys are ready. You've got a lot of veterans on this team that understand the moment, and I think they'll go capitalize on it. And if they don't, at least in Clayton and Zyler and y'all's predictions, at least in your mind, it'd be a close game. And I think that's still good for you moving forward, but a win would be massive. It'd be a huge opportunity moving forward into the season, especially with some of the games you've got coming up this month, like TCU, Oklahoma State, Arizona, Kansas State. You've got some winnable games coming up in January that could really set you up into March, actually making a run at this conference championship if you win this game. So,
Yep.
2v2. We'll see who's wrong. Maybe we'll throw a little side bet on it this weekend and tell y'all what the loser had to do come Sunday.
I had a basketball question though. Chance McMillan is the best off-ball guard we've had since who?
That's a great question. I mean,
are we counting Mac McClung as off-ball or on-ball?
I think he was an on-ball. I felt like he had the ball in his hands so much.
Yeah.
What about Kevin? What about Terrence Shannon?
I feel like he was a wing.
Okay, then I would say Jemias Ramsey. He might be better than Jemias too, but
I think Jemias is pick.
Yeah, I mean, you could. So Kevin McCullough was more of on ball.
I mean, you could maybe make the case, Kevin.
What about Drew Steph?
He was. I don't. He was pretty good. His dad had a better game than he did, apparently.
I want to make a really bad joke about a family member of his scoring, but we're just not going to do that. I don't know, man. He just fills his role so well, and I feel like he plays really good. Like he is defending at a much better level than what his physical capabilities should allow him to. And he just does exactly what you need him to. It's like, hey, dude, you're open for a 3-pointer? Like, yeah, I'll knock it down at a 50% clip. Perfect.
Yeah,
it's like,
dude, he is such a sniper. It's crazy.
His shots is gorgeous. Beautiful too.
It is gorgeous.
Y'all remember when Naeem Stevenson used to chuck up like late shot clock, and he was like he was a sniper, like he could hit, but it was so ugly. It was there's no way that's going in.
Yeah.
Chance is pretty even if he misses, man. It's such a pretty stroke.
Is. And he's just such a hard worker too. Like you can see, he just works on his craft. He's added different shots. Okay, I've got another question for you guys, and while we're on this, JT Toppin at his best or Bryson Williams at his best? Big 12.
It's tough.
So this is like Bryson Williams Sr. versus JT Toppin right now, kind of.
Yeah, like Bryson Williams 2022, lead like Big 12, all Big 12 player, Bryson Williams or JT Toppin.
It's so tough. It's hard because, dude, Bryson Williams at this point in the season was terrible. People were literally calling for him to be benched and like not play.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'd rather have his production in the Big 12 than 5 points and 0 rebounds. I'm not saying that's JT Toppin.
Yeah, but maybe
I know he's
JT,
better
but
than
maybe
that.
at this point,
Yeah,
JT absolutely turns it around.
Yeah, and I think he's too good a player not to. It just,
Yeah.
Bryson at his best, dude. Like that game against Texas, it's like the dude could not be stopped in the post. He could step back and hit a pick and pop. He was spinning. That dude was icy, man. That in the Big 12
Bryson
play,
definitely had like a more aesthetically pleasing offensive game, but dude, Toppin against St. Joseph's had like 15 offensive rebounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Like he's good in a different way that Bryson was good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it? So is your answer Toppin, Clay?
I mean, it's so tough.
I think there's a chance it would depend on the team. Like,
yeah, I think Bryson had worse coaching for sure and a worse
Mark
scheme.
Adams, man. But we got to go Mark versus Grant here. Come on.
Toppin's also a way better defender too.
Character-wise,
Bryson
Grant wins by miles.
Yeah, he wins a character conversation.
I
Z,
felt
what's your
like
answer?
Bryson was so crafty around the rim. Like Toppin is good around the rim and he's a great rebounder. He is going to shoot with his left hand like 95% of the time.
Yeah.
You can take that to the bank. It's not necessarily crafty.
Well, and that's
I
kind of my concern with Toppin, like getting into the more physicality of Big 12 play.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, is this something
that's
to be
fair.
concerned about? Because against lesser opponents or something, yeah, he had massive
He
rebounds. but
dominates.
He doesn't have a ton of outside game, and that's why you need the guards to step up because Toppin's not going to take you to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. That's going to be a chance D5, Elijah, KO type scenario where those guys are just shooting the lights out
Kerwin.
and getting to the paint. And Kerwin, yeah. At times, we'd like to see more of it, but his offensive game's a little minimal when it comes to his ability outside of kind of that left-handed hook.
Do you want me to
maybe that's a
read
better
the
question
stats?
after Saturday. I'd like to see
Yeah.
JT against Iowa State, and then we can revisit that.
It should be after the season because if we did the first
Yeah.
4
that's
games
true.
of Big 12
That's
play,
true.
we'd probably
Yeah.
take Toppin.
Yeah,
But-
okay.
Well, I'm just saying because
Clayton's got
because
the
of the
stats pulled up.
physicality that you're gonna see on Saturday is something you haven't seen yet in Big 12. That's why I was making that argument of revisiting it after that game.
Yeah.
Clayton, go ahead.
All right, Bryson, his senior year averaged 14.1 points, 4.2 rebounds, 1.1 assists, a half a block, half a steal on, let's see, where is it? 54% shooting. Toppin's averaging 17.2 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist on 57% shooting with, 1.7 blocks and 1.1 steals.
Okay, in fairness to Bryson, they were playing much slower on that team. They weren't getting nearly as
Yeah.
many possessions, and he was way lower usage.
For
But,
sure.
I mean, those stats right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why stats don't tell the whole story. It's like the Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes
Yeah.
conversation.
Dude, the defensive stats, though, he's averaging 3 times more blocks and 2 times more steals. That's a
and
lot.
I feel like what was I going to say about Toppin? And he's a good player. He's obviously somebody you want to keep around. It's just, it'll be interesting. I feel like coaches scheme more to stop Toppin than they do other players. And so I think maybe that should tell us what's going on. I think they're worried about Toppin.
Yeah.
That zone was designed to take Toppin out of the game.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that I'm not overreacting to Toppin having a bad week in Utah.
Yeah.
I still think he's a great player, and I don't think I think he's a huge part of your team. I just it's just a fun question to ask. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's move as we close the show. We do have some other football still going on. Unfortunately, Texas Tech season is over. But before we get to our college football predictions, we do have an episode dropping on Friday, a special episode. Our first ever Broadway Shuffle Football Awards are dropping live Friday morning on our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple. So make sure you tune into that. We had a lot of fun recording that. Some special awards. Yeah, man, dude, I am like, I don't know if I had too much coffee today, but I am spazzed today, man. I cannot finish a sentence. But that will be on Friday morning. So unfortunately, we do have to watch the disgusting team in burnt orange play football this week against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Predictions on that game, guys. I hope we are all correct and we all pick the right team here. But Conrad, I'll go to you first, man. You gonna pick your boy Quinn Ewers, or you gonna ride high with the Buckeyes?
My boy Quinn Ewers.
You know you love Quinn Ewers.
I mean,
6'3" white guys with Conrad's weakness.
Did I want Quinn? Yeah, he's my type, I guess.
Yeah.
Did I want Quinn to come to Texas Tech when he transferred from Ohio State and came and did a visit? Absolutely, I did. I think he would have looked a lot better in red and black than burnt orange, but his dream was always to play for the University of Texas and win a national championship, and that's absolutely not what he is going to do this year, because he will be beat into the ground by the Ohio State defense. This Ohio State team is unbelievable. I mean, when they're clicking on all cylinders like we saw against Tennessee in the first round and then against Oregon in the Rose Bowl, there's no better team in the country. There's no more talented team in the country. So I'm definitely going to go Ohio State here. I think it'll be double digits too. Just think that they have too much talent. Jeremiah Smith is too good, and he needs to finish the season strong before he becomes a Red Raider next year.
Conrad.
Yeah.
So, all right, Z, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I mean, the people that I trust and I follow think this may be one of the most talented teams ever assembled in the college football level.
Mm-hmm.
They won't get the reverence of maybe a 2019 LSU or some of those early 2000s Miami, but as far as talent, I mean, they've got 5 stars pretty much everywhere, and they're like dominant 5 stars, not the Micah Hudson variety. Nothing against Micah, but I mean,
Everything.
their
against
defensive
Micah.
line, it's like it is crazy how good their defensive line is. Is Sark's a good offensive coach? I think he'll have some answers for what they're trying to do, but I mean, they took a really talented Oregon team and made them look like a FCS opponent. I mean, it was 34-3. Is that what it was at halftime or something?
It was 34-0, and I think it was 34-8 at half. Oregon had scored, and yeah.
I mean, that game was over like once the first quarter ended. I mean, it was over.
Yeah.
And I think Oregon's better than Texas. So we'll see. The 6-point spread, the Vegas odds makers, I mean, those guys do it for a living. They think it's going to be close. I don't see that, but you know, I have not made a lot of money gambling, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. In fact, you've lost. That's why you bought so much Cougar juice, so you could try to make all your money back.
That's why I'm podcasting. I got to find a way to get out of this crippling debt I have.
Yeah.
We make so much money on
It
this.
is crazy the amount of income you can make from 700 subscribers. Clayton, what's your prediction? We got 2 Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah.
You going 3?
Yeah, I am. Although I seem to have a little more faith in Texas to make it close than they do. I mean, Ohio State's definitely the most talented team in the country, but Texas could be the second most, although Quinn is not playing like the talent that he is. But I do think they keep it close. I think it's unlikely that Ohio State plays as well as they did versus Oregon 2 games in a row because they played nearly perfectly. But yeah, I don't see Texas beating them. They're too good.
Now, I reserve the right to change my prediction if one thing happens. If Quinn either gets hurt or benched in the first quarter and Arch Manning comes in, I think the world would catch on fire.
See, maybe.
I will say
so
Arch Manning is unbelievable. He's going to win a Heisman.
So it wasn't Quinn that was your biggest
He's so
crush.
unbelievable that he can't beat out Quinn Ewers.
It's not, dude. It's not that. There's no way Sark was going to take Quinn off the field. Like, it's one of those loyalty things that, like, there's no way he's going to do that.
I have fun. So do you think that the more talented and better equipped quarterback is being left on the sidelines in favor of an older, probably not as high of a ceiling quarterback? Is there a team in Texas that's doing that?
Yeah. I think it's the University of Texas. Texas Tech Red Raiders have a fantastic quarterback in Baron Morton. Will's time will come, but it's not yet. I do think Arch is much better than Quinn, and I do know some other people who think that are unfortunately fans of the University of Texas.
Great plug there, Z. I really love what you did there. I honestly didn't catch it at first, and I was like, "Wait,
that was cute. I'll call it cute."
I was like,
so you're saying? I just want to make sure that you're clear. Like, if the entrenched starter got hurt, you think that Texas has a better chance of winning?
You're just trying to make me bite. You threw your line.
That's what you're telling me. You're telling me all bets are off if Quinn.
I think Arch showed a lot this year. I mean, he when he got to play, I think Quinn's the level of play he's had this year has definitely not been where it was in years past. I think I remember Zyler saying that on this show. So I am more of an Arch Manning believer than I am a Quinn Ewers believer. But we'll see what happens. Maybe Quinn comes out and shocks the world and throws for 5 touchdowns against this defense and takes Texas to the national championship. And I hope he doesn't do that. But I guess all things are possible with Sark.
all things are possible through Jesus Christ and Steve Sarkisian. I would. By the way, I'm picking Ohio
Sark's
State.
a great coach.
Yeah,
Sark is a great coach.
He is.
Sark is a good coach.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is a good
Dude,
coach.
one more thing on Ohio State. Did you all see that Jeremiah Smith has almost already surpassed all of Terry McLaurin's entire college career stats at Ohio State?
His 4-year
That's
career,
insane.
like 14, 15, 16,
That's
or what was it?
absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I saw that comparison. I was like, wow, Terry McLaurin was better than Jeremiah Smith as a freshman. And then I was like, oh, wait, this is his career stats.
Yeah.
That is crazy, dude. He is such a
Jeremiah
beast.
Smith is the Adrian Peterson of wide receivers in college football. Like, that's how good that guy is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I'm picking Ohio State too, so that's 4 Buckeyes we'll be rooting on to beat the Longhorns. Who are they playing? We'll go quickly here on the Notre Dame-Penn State game. Who are they playing? Clay, I'll go to you first.
I'm picking Notre Dame. I actually think that Marcus Freeman is a pretty good big game coach. I think he's a pretty good coach, and I don't believe in James Franco or Franklin, not Franco. James.
Dude, have you seen
James Franco coaches Penn State now.
Yeah, he left acting.
Yeah,
I too
James
don't
Franklin.
believe in James Franco.
I don't either. He was pretty good in Pineapple Express, or what other movie was he in that was really funny?
Spider-Man 2.
Oh
The
yeah,
Interview.
he was the Goblin's son.
yeah.
I totally forgot. That was like his first movie, right? That was when he was young. Yeah. Okay, so not James. You mean James Franklin, the bald head
James
coach?
Franklin, yes. I don't trust him to win a big game. I know that technically he's won 2 big games, but SMU and Boise State are not the same as Notre Dame. So I'll take Notre Dame.
Okay, Conrad.
Yeah, I'm going to go Notre Dame as well. I just that team plays so well together. They're so disciplined. I mean, they play so difficult, or they play so much together that I just think Penn State is going to finally play a legitimate opponent, and I think they're going to lose, unfortunately. But Notre Dame's a great team, and Ryan Leonard's a good quarterback, and not James Franklin. I just blanked.
James
Coach
Franco.
Freeman, James Franco. Notre Dame head coach is a great coach, so we'll see what happens. Marcus Freeman.
All right, Z.
Dude, I'm in a bowl pick'em with our work, and it's pretty large, and I'm 1 pick behind, and I know this guy's going to pick Notre Dame, so I think Penn State is going to win. I'm going to somehow Drew Aller and Nick Singleton and Abdul Carter are going to have amazing games, and they're somehow going to knock Notre Dame off because I need them to.
Okay,
That's my analysis.
Fair. And way to plug the pick'em. We've also got a pick'em league on our ESPN as well. So we're coming down to the Final Four. We'll be announcing the kind of finalist, I guess. It will have the potential opportunity for some prizes, and as well as a 10 to 20-minute interview on our show for the winner. We'll be announcing that on Sunday's episode once we kind of look through. Guys, I don't know, man. James Franklin, I think it would be one of the most hilarious national titles ever if it was Ryan Day and James Franklin.
That
Because
would be
it would.
so fun.
That'd be
both
amazing,
both
honestly.
fan bases want them go. It's like our coaches suck and no one can win. They're pissed off at them. They both make the playoff, and it's like we meet again for a national title. And I think it would be hilarious to see, even on the SEC side, to see 2 Big Ten teams in the title. I know,
Yeah.
Notre Dame is also not an SEC team and they're independent, but it would be even funnier to see 2 Big Ten teams get there when the SEC is talking all about this. And I also do think that'd be one of the most competitive matchups. I do think that Penn State, having some familiarity with Ohio State, almost beating them, really should have beat them at home. Just
Mhm.
I mean, they had two
Yeah.
possessions within the 5-yard line and didn't score a touchdown. I think it would be more entertaining. I think Ohio State would probably run Notre Dame. I still think they'd beat Penn State, but I do think that Penn State would find a way to make that competitive just with having played them. So I'm going to say Penn State. I want to see the coaching matchup and just the media frenzy of having to say, oh, James Franklin, like Clayton said, who can't win big games, and Ryan Day, who can't win big games and can't be Michigan, but here they are playing for the biggest game in the world. And the only way you would have got there is beating big and good teams. So it'd be pretty funny.
It's the Michael Jordan of James Franklin's versus the actual James Franklin.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge matchup.
Yeah. So that's my prediction. We'll see on Monday's episode how we did and the where we were right and where we were wrong segment, which we haven't done in a while. I want to bring that back because it's a lot of fun kind of seeing how dumb we are sometimes. So
I think Clayton was the closest on our BYU pick. He had us winning by 4.
yeah, he was.
We won by 5.
Clayton's he tends to pick basketball pretty well, man. The dude knows ball.
Yep.
Clayton's
sharp.
He's a sharp guy when it comes to basketball. So, all right, Ziva, why don't you close us out with some tech trivia?
Man, if I had tech trivia, this would be a great segment.
Wait, we don't have one.
Who was the off-ball guard whose sister? No, I'm not gonna finish it.
Did that
Comment your
guard-
answer below in
Wait,
the comments.
did that guard? I think I know this. Did that guard transfer?
He did.
Yes.
All right, I know the answer. I'll leave it at that. We'll leave it to the comment section below.
Yeah.
Okay, no tech trivia. That's my bad. I thought we had it. Come back on Monday for some tech trivia. Maybe we'll
It's
double
going to
up.
be elite.
It's gonna be a great question. So all right, well, for Conrad, Z, Clayton, I'm Brennan. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, feel free to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or listen along on Spotify or Apple. So we will see you guys again. Do not forget to check us out on Friday for our first ever football awards show. That'll be dropping as well. And then follow us on all of our social medias, which you can find in a link in the description below. And also, if you're interested in sponsoring an episode, having your logo, having us shout you out, whatever, we have a sponsorship form as well in the description. We'd love to hear from you. And then, as always, comment your opinions. Let us know what you think. We try to get back to as many of you as you can. We love hearing from you and all of our shufflers who support the show. So hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next time around on the Broadway Shuffle. Thanks, guys.